father is Mr. Lewis.
I'm really happy to have my dad.
Here, Miss Curtis is in court because she believes her mother has hidden the identity of her father from her for 14 years. The mother is also in court, but she does not seem to have a clear indication of who the father is.
There's a man waiting outside of the courtroom that your mother believes could be your biological father. Now, Miss Hall, you let your daughter believe that the man who raised her was her father, knowing it was a lie.
Miss Curtis's mother claims she hoped to tell her daughter the truth someday, but a family member told her before she had a chance. How did Miss Curtis find out the man she initially knew was not her biological father?
My grandmother said that she wanted to tell me the truth about who my father really is and that the man at the time was not my father. I want you to take it to your grave if your mother tell you yourself. And I said, okay.
According to Miss Curtis, she always felt she was adopted because her father never showed her affection or love.
Actually, Your Honor, yes, I did not tell my daughter. Simply one, because I was a young girl. I gave birth to her when I was 16 years old. I met Kirk. Kirk lived pretty much like a fast lifestyle.
Miss Curtis had very little knowledge about pregnancy at the time of conception, and she just lived her life the way it came.
About a month passed by, and I would say, maybe I'm not.
I'm not pregnant.
I'm not pregnant. I wind up meeting another guy and allow her to grow up believing that that was her father because that was what we had discussed.
When Miss Curtis's mother decided to open up to her daughter, she didn't give Mr. Kirk's name. However, she later gave his name when she realized Miss Curtis was going to search for her dad.
I knew one day that I'll have to sit her real down, let her know who her father is. Was at the age of 16.
Now, it's an emotional moment when you have to face a paternity court as an adult because your mom is not sure who your dad is. However, it gets more painful if you have never had a father figure all these years.
I was the mother. I was the one who took care of you. It did not matter whether you had a father or not. I was the one that was supporting you, keeping a roof over your head, that you went to school and you got the education that you needed.
Miss Curtis believes her father's absence in her life has hurt her childhood memories. However, her mother claims it is not supposed to be a significant issue.
I always wanted Abril to understand that I was young. I didn't want her to be a victim of that.
She wanted me to do the things that she wasn't able to do. I don't know how to dance. I don't know how to do anything that my father should have taught me.
Miss Hall is minimizing how her daughter feels about the whole situation, but Judge Lauren Lake thinks she should listen to her daughter.
It's called the father-daughter dance, and when she said it, I could only imagine everybody getting ready at school and chattering, and you saying to yourself, well, I guess that's somewhere I can't go.
Miss Curtis never really felt the father-daughter connection with Miss Hall's husband while growing up. Then, she learned about Mr. Whitaker and that he could be her father.
So then you heard about Mr. Whitaker.
The same night that me and my nana, we had the discussion and we found out where he was, write him letters and everything.
When the rumors about Miss Curtis's paternity was speculated, Miss Hall tried to write a letter to Mr. Whitaker, but never mailed it. Someone in the family found it at her mom's place and decided to post it.
But you didn't mail it.
That is correct.
I have the letter right here. This is the first time she'll ever see the letter.
He's willing to be the father she needs and deserves.
At this point, Mr. Whitaker was escorted into the courtroom, and Judge Lauren Lake asked if he believed he was Miss Curtis's father.
Your Honor, I'm actually doubtful. And having said that, it's because the way the situation went down. But as I remember, she was also in a relationship with someone else. I was with somebody. I mean, I'll take my part. Hey.
Mr. Whitaker does not deny his relationship with Miss Curtis's mother, Miss Hall, but his lifestyle and experience at the time made him doubt paternity.
The way it went down, when she told me that, she knew that the lifestyle that I was living, I had a lot of women coming at me saying, I'm pregnant. Just say, I need the money for abortion.
I never asked you for any money.
That was not the first time somebody claimed to be pregnant with Mr. Whitaker's baby when they all wanted money.
That she was in relation with somebody else.
How am I supposed to expect to believe that he is my dad? Lied to for so long.
A mutual friend told Mr. Whitaker that he was not the father of Miss Hall's child, so he just stayed away and didn't bother to look for her.
I get a letter in the mail, you have a child, along with a picture. I'm like, looks like a mom. First it's not, then it is. I mean, why would you give the child someone else's name and I'm the father?
Miss Curtis is convinced that both her parents are great liars because she had a different experience with Mr. Whitaker in the past, but he is in court claiming he never believed she was his daughter.
While he was in prison, you got a letter from him.
Yes, he wanted to know little things about me so he can get to know me through the letters. He didn't do none of that. I was trying to help him.
When Mr. Whitaker got out of prison, it was only proper that he made efforts to know Miss Curtis by spending time with her. However, he seemed to have other things in mind.
so you could work, so you'd have some time to spend with me, but instead of spending that time with me, you spent it with my mother.
Despite the exchange of letters between Miss Curtis and Mr. Whitaker while he was incarcerated, he still doubts her paternity.
How can I say when she was messing with other men and you give someone else another man's name?
We have the results.
Judge Lake had enough drama from both parents already, and it's time to find out who 22-year-old Miss Abriel Curtis's father is.
When it comes to Abriel Curtis, Mr. Whitaker, you are her father.
In this case, Mr. Lewis claims he is the father of 35-year-old Miss Crystal Scott, but circumstances kept him away from her life. And now there is another father in court.
Mr. Scott, you claim you are Crystal's biological father. You say the results will prove you are Crystal's dad.
Mr. Scott has been married to Crystal's mother and believes she is his daughter, but Mr. Lewis claims he had a relationship with her.
Miss Scott and I had met. We got into a relationship. I was in love with her. She was an unhappy wife.
So you knew she was married?
I knew she was married.
Despite being married at the time, Mr. Lewis says he and Miss Crystal's mother were unhappy in their marriage, resulting in their relationship.
Unhappy husband. We became involved. 8-year relationship. 7 months, she asked me, who do you think this child is? And I was stunned.
Mr. Lewis claims Crystal's mother told him he was the father, but he did not seem to have pursued a case for his daughter.
We broke up, but then I also thought about the harm it would do. Him and I are gonna get into it. One of us go to graveyard, one of us go to prison. Now it hurts. You know, I know that I have a child that I can't go out and tell the world this is my child.
Hearing that his wife had a relationship with another man for 8 years and his daughter could belong to another man must be a hard pill for Mr. Scott to swallow at this point.
She is still my daughter, just regardless of what. She is mine. I don't care what they feel, she is mine because I've raised her. What I was gonna do to him, I never planned to do nothing to him. But Your Honor, I've been knowing him a long time myself.
Well, the court had to conduct a test on both men and 35-year-old Miss Crystal to find out who her birth father was.
Father is Mr. Lewis.